gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we are live and underway. Sorry for the late start tonight. Just time got away from me. So that's just what happens here in the portal. It's a time anomaly. What can I say? No, it was actually, I had a kind of a cool thing happen. But before I go into that, let me introduce you to my co-host tonight. My one and only child. Well, not my only child. I got a couple other ones as well, but he's the first one born. Mr. Sheldon Thomas is joining us tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Great to be back. I'm so glad you opened up with a normal opening for me this time. You're always keeping me on my toes.
You're welcome, fruit of my loins. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have you here. It's just been kind of a weird day in general, not in a bad way at all, but just an unusual day. But I was sitting at the desk here earlier, and I've got, all three screens in front of me. This one directly in front of me has like the broadcasting software and the chat. This one over on the right has Sheldon's face, which you also see because I got that captured and up on the screen. And then the one on the left has the call board and the Discord server. And then there's this one behind me, which is just a display screen for the whatever we're doing that night. But I'm sitting here. Excuse me. Hold on. Got to take a drink. I'm sitting here at the desk, and I look over at the call board. I'm like, how come I'm connected to that? And then I'm like, I'm not connected to that. Wait, somebody's calling. And it was like a couple hours ago. So
wow.
I quick logged into Skype, and I got all connected and stuff. And then I'm like, hello? And the guy goes, hey, are you on the air? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he said, okay, I wasn't quite sure, what time zones or whatever. And we got to talking. Well, his name is Gabriel. And he's an over-the-road trucker, and he was like, I really love the show. It's really cool. It's really great. I wrote you an email as well, but he said, I just had another story, and I wanted to call in. And he said, I wasn't sure about the connection. So I was like, well, you know what? Do you mind if I just record this call? And I did. I recorded the call, and Gabe and I went on to have a great discussion about a weird experience that he had, very strange, and actually a couple other experiences that he had, one of which belonged to a friend of his. But at any case, it was really neat. Just out of the blue, someone called the line. I was like, I just happened to see it. And so, but the problem is that there was some feedback every time I would talk. So I've got to edit it. I've got the sound file of it, and I was going to try to get it ready for tonight's show, but I just didn't have time. So it'll probably be for maybe Thursday's Night Terrors this week. We'll play it, but it was just just out of the blue, somebody called the line, and I was like, oh, that's neat. So I quick switched over and got it, and had a great discussion with Gabe, and it was really complimentary, really cool guy, and it was a lot of fun to talk to him. So I'll get that all polished up and ready for Thursday night show, I think, is my plan.
Please do. I'm excited to hear it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, and there's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, there really isn't a 24-hour, contact the portal kind of line. But if you ever want to try, just call the call-in number that we have, because I always have the call board open on the screen. And if I happen to be sitting here and see you call, I'll certainly try to talk to you. It's not something that I keep active all the time, but it was just happened to work out, and it's worked out that way one other time too. I ended up just seeing someone else call in, and so I clicked over and talked to them, and it was just a discussion. It wasn't anything too paranormally related. They just wanted to call in and say how much they loved the show, so it was really neat. But Gabe and
yeah,
I,
watch tomorrow on your day off. You're going to have like 3 calls in, like on your day off.
I'll like have a whole flood of them. That'd be okay, because you know what? We'll use it for the podcasts or whatever too. I love featuring the discussions with people on the podcast, because those are audio only. And of course, when people call in, those are audio only as well. So it's a natural fit. But I will try to showcase at least Gabe's call on the YouTube show, because that's fun when people call in, and even if it's off of normal hours. So anyway, Gabe, if you're out there, man, I love talking to you. Thank you, brother. And I appreciate all your compliments and support. That was awesome. But we've got a full boat of show tonight for you. We're going to get into the UFO phenomena again. We've done it for all 3 nights for the whole weekend. We did it Friday night, Saturday night. And I thought, well, rather than trying to dive into something new, I still got some things opened up from those shows that we didn't get to. So we'll get to them tonight and have a 3-night UFO trifecta here on the portal. So I hope that's agreeable to all of you out there. And that's what we're going to do. So Sheldon, anything in the open?
No, not right now.
Okay.
No.
Well, Sheldon actually found us a cool video to check out for the trail cam terrors, and we're going to look into that at the end of the show. So make sure you stick around for the whole show, because doggone it, we try to pack it full of all kinds of goodness from start to finish. Sometimes we actually succeed too.
Yeah, and if you leave early, Dad's going to send me out in the woods again, so please stay.
You don't even know what that means for sure, but I'll send you out in the wilds of the internets. Okay. I don't know where to go with that. Anyway, I hope you all are ready, because it's time for bed. All right, there we are. There's Portal Mom, too. Hi, Portal Mom. How you doing? And let's see who's here. Who is here? All right, let's take a look at the participants that are talking and see. Android Purity's here. Cold Stairs is here. Digger Dog is here. Herman Vera is here. Portal Mom's here. Rachel Gets It Right is here, and she's got an apple and a butter knife, so I don't know what kind of diabolical thing she's got in mind, but hope it all ends well. And Sheldon, you're here. I'm here. Spirit Stalker 151 is here. Sugar Britches is here, and Wen Wilson's here. So that's who I got so far. Buzzacino just popped in, and oh man, they're popping in now. Kirk Robinson, Digger Dog's here. Somebody else came in. Ghost Magnet is here. Let's see. Spirit Stalker, I did say that one before. Tracy Gale came in. Good. Well, thank you guys for coming in, and more of you, I'm sure, will be here eventually. Someone else just popped in. Who was it? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, Brooks. It's completely understandable.
What's that?
Brooks said, I'm skipping out tonight. My best friend just died today. Sorry. Oh. And it's no worries. Not at all. Don't even worry about it. That's completely understandable. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Our heart goes out to you. That's double tough, and certainly take whatever you need. I think that's beautiful. People, you're such a part of the family that you feel like you owe us an explanation, but you don't. Just know we love you, and we'll send our love and prayers to not only you, but those who are suffering at this time because of it. So, Sheldon, you're kind of loud again, so I don't know what's going on.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'll try turning my sensitivity down a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. It's like punching my ears. I got headphones on, so it's like bam.
Oh,
no,
I apologize.
No, that's better. Whatever you just did, or maybe you just talk quieter, whatever. But anyway, let's get on with the show. We're going to start out with some fun stuff, as always. The first one, I guess this will be the first one. This is from animalien.com. This is a site. I really enjoy this site. They do a great job as well. I feature them every once in a while, but it's a really cool site. And not only that, it's also a podcast. So definitely check them out. I've listened to an episode or two of their podcast, and they do a really good job. So please support their work and all that they're doing. But this is an article from August 31st, 2021, and it says, in the Colorado, a bicycle race participant captured a strange UFO. That's funny. These UFO pictures, there's so many of these coming out lately. So either there really is a lot more things in the sky, and there really are a lot more sightings, or there's a lot of Mylar balloons floating all over the place. I'm not sure which it is, because it's pretty ambiguous from the picture here on the screen. But it is, it's very possible. On August 23rd, 2021, while participating in a bicycle race, an eyewitness accidentally noticed a UFO in the sky. Realizing in time, the man took out his smartphone and began to shoot a strange object with a very unusual shape. UFologists believe that the initial object moved between the trees, and it's easy to determine by watching the video in slow motion. And this video was taken in the San Luis Valley in Saguache County, Colorado. Saguache, I guess? County, Colorado. Okay. It says, some commentators mistook the mysterious object for a Mylar balloon. Thank you very much. I wasn't necessarily implying that that's what it was, but it would be really hard to differentiate between an actual UFO, because most of them are really pretty ambiguous. There's this metallic outside, and they have these very geometric shapes and, very rounded geometric shapes. So at a distance, it would be indistinguishable one from the other. And it's also really hard to judge distance whenever anything's in the sky, because, it looks far away, then, it could be a mile away. It could be a block away. It's really hard to tell unless there's some kind of something that's in the vicinity that it floats by that you can judge a distance. So it's not uncommon for people to mistake one for the other. But ufologists disagree with this conclusion. According to them, this place is too remote for an accidentally flying balloon. The way it doesn't turn on itself, doesn't touch the branches, is indeed definitely unusual for an alleged randomly floating object, writes Hector Pardo. I think the reaction of the witness who seems nervous is important. You don't feel like this just because of Mylar balloon. At least one would expect that he finds out and calms down anytime they're in the video, but the more he observes it, the more the witness feels uncomfortable, he continues. Seen a lot of strange in this area before. Sand dunes, Crestone, Taos, Cuesta. Met a lot of folks who experienced animal mutilations in this area. Lived there 5 years, writes another commentator. Wow. Yeah, animal mutilations, you can't really blame those on Mylar balloons. So
True.
That's where the paths diverge.
Is this a better loudness, by the way?
Not much. No, it's still pretty punchy. But at any rate, just maybe lean back from your mic or move your mic back on the table a little bit from you.
That's actually what I did.
Okay. Well, your voice is scary, I guess. I guess we could take a look at this video, at least some of it, and see what's going on.
He was able to record.
Okay, I'm going to take off the volume here and just see, because I don't want to stomp on anybody's copyright too much, but I just want to see what they're seeing. Oh, here it is. It's actually in front of the trees. Okay. Oh, it did actually go between the trees. Okay. Well, that is pretty compelling, really. Huh. Okay. So he actually filmed it going through the trees. I'm going to go frame by frame here and see if we can back it up a bit, because you can actually see where it goes between the trees, but it really isn't just bouncing around. And the other part of this is that as things like a balloon would pass through, if it's just riding the breeze, for instance, as the breeze passes through treetops and stuff, you're going to get a wind turbulence. It's going to start causing an erratic behavior of if it is just a balloon. It should start to create vortices of air as the air breaks over the surface of the trees and the branches and stuff. You would think, at least I would think, but maybe the trees aren't quite dense enough to affect it, and it hadn't created enough turbulence to affect the flight of the balloon. But I'm going backwards right now, frame by frame, and let me blow this up so we can really see it as I do this.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. I could probably do the full screen too. That would help. Here we go. And we're going back. So there it is. It's in between the branches, and it's not really huge though. It looks very small, not much bigger than what a drone would look like, I wouldn't think, except that it has, a full casing on it. So it's not a drone. I don't mean to imply it is, but yeah, that is very curious. I want to see where this starts. Yeah, it's coming through. It's in front of those branches, and it's in front of that. So it's closer to the person than that tree in the background. But I don't know. Perhaps it hadn't hit enough obstacles to create a lot of turbulence in the airstreams. But still, if it is just a nondescript Mylar balloon, it would be hard to see it spinning and tumbling as well, unless it actually was whipping around and changing direction because of air currents. But it just seems to be just true as rain, just following that trajectory all the way down. Let me just hold down there we go. When I hold it down, it goes actually in regular time. Oh, it's trying to catch up with me.
Oh.
Now it's going to go. So it's actually not really far away. It doesn't look.
No.
And it's in between those trees there. So
it's within 100 yards. Looks like.
Yeah.
Within 50 maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because we don't know what we're looking at or the scale of it. But
yeah,
it could be well over 100 yards away. But it's still, yeah. And there it looks like he just kind of loses it. I'm just going to keep going forward here and see what we find. It's getting a little grainy. That almost looked like a little bit of a light. But it might have just been the reflection there, hitting it again. So I don't know, folks. Could be the real thing. Could be just a Mylar balloon. I mean, it's not impossible. But I'm not going to play the sound to it because this is somebody's video that was, that took his video and made a video about it. So, but it doesn't seem to be doing any. Well, then it kind of goes down right there, though, right? So it does look like it almost stops there and goes down. So that is curious, isn't it?
That is curious.
It actually changes trajectory there. It's going down, over, stop, then down. So yeah, I don't know. That wouldn't be the behavior you'd expect of a balloon full of helium. So looks like they might have caught something there, folks. I don't think that all UFOs are manned. I think in a lot of cases they aren't. And I think this may be a very, very possibly a case of it not being a manned, but being perhaps if it is a drone, it's actually serving a purpose, scouting something out or checking out the area to some degree. So I don't know. That's pretty good. That's actually a pretty good video.
Yeah, pretty compelling.
I'm impressed.
Pretty compelling.
I am impressed, I got to admit. So there you have it, folks. Believe what you want, but I think it's very possible that is indeed some kind of small extraterrestrial craft, or at least it is a UFO because we can't identify it. So in the true sense,
Rachel, sorry.
Go ahead.
Rachel says maybe the aliens don't bother using cloaking technology on other small probe UFOs because they're so small.
Yeah, or maybe the mechanism is too big for such a small craft too. Perhaps it can't be utilized on something that small. Just possibly. I mean, it's anybody's guess. But the other part of it is it's easy for us to dismiss that as just a balloon, and it's safe. It's safe for people to say, it's just a balloon, because it doesn't threaten anybody's paradigm. And you can't disprove it. You can't disprove it. You can't say, no, that it definitely is not a balloon. We can't do that. Even with that path change at the very end there where it just kind of dives down, I still wouldn't be comfortable enough to say, no, that's definitely not a balloon. It is a weird behavior, but what if it hit a branch and was going under it at that point? Could be. Or
a little wind gust, or, it could be many things that could be causing that.
Yeah, so it is unusual. I wouldn't have expected it to go downward at that point. So something happened behind those trees there, and it could very well be intelligently controlled. So
here's an interesting question. Ghost Magnet asks, I don't know where I heard that Bigfoot likes shiny balloons. Have you heard that?
No, I don't know that I've heard that, but what I have heard, and I don't even remember how I came across this, but several times through the years of researching Bigfoot stuff, I've heard that for some reason there seems to be a real attraction to blue plastic bags for Bigfoot. Like they love blue plastic bags, like shopping bags that are blue. And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what their fascination with them is, but there's been, I guess, several instances where people are seeing them, or at least seeing them take interest in those kind of things. I don't know what it is, but not for balloons. I can't say I've ever heard any correlation between Bigfoot and balloons. But then again, I'm only, as much as I love that subject and love to look into it, I can't claim to be an avid researcher on any one of these topics. So I definitely read everything I can and look into every lead that I can follow. But, on the portal, it's a real broad spectrum show. So it's one of those things where I can't dedicate all my time to any one thing. So there's information out there that I'm probably not aware of too. So if you do find things like that, please send them to me. Send them to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I would love to read anything you guys stumble across as much as I'm able to. Because more the merrier. Given that,
I'm going to have to fix my mic again. Wolverine's saying my mic's hot again.
Yeah, it's just really punchy. I don't know what it is. Go into Skype and lower your mic volume way down.
I put it to 3.
Try it on 1.
I guess so.
I don't know why it doesn't seem to be responding to your controls there, but it's just,
this is weird.
It's just really strong. It's like so, or just whisper. You can just whisper the rest of the night.
Yeah, I could just do an ASMR stream.
No, you can't. Nope. Sorry, we're losing
How's everybody
connection.
doing out there?
We're losing connection. Sheldon, looks like you're getting sketchy here. You will not be doing ASMR on the portal.
That's fair. All right.
No, but I don't know. Just try to lean it back or something, or put it way back on your table or something. We don't want it too far back because I don't want a lot of room noise either. 'Cause I don't know. We'll just have to really try to dial that in the next couple of days, because it really is. Sometimes, some days it's really, really nice, and other days it's like, wow, that's really hitting. And tonight's definitely one of those nights. So I don't know what it is. Sheldon's a little newer to all of this, and so we're trying to dial him in. So I apologize for any of you out there. But we have addressed this, and we're looking into it. But it does vary from show to show. It's very strange.
Maybe even paranormal.
Maybe. Could be. All right, let's continue our journey through the paranormal portal. And now we're going to check out the next article. And that is also from animalien.com. And this one is having to do with Jesus. Bleh. Sorry. That's words, isn't it? Mysterious cattle mutilation continues in Oregon, and Argentina. I got to make sure I say Oregon, otherwise Don will go like, "What's wrong with you?" When I first came over here, I was like, Oregon. He goes, "Where the hell's that? What's that?" Because you got to say Oregon. Just so you know, Sheldon. Recently in Oregon, Argentina, there were fresh cases of cattle mutilation. On August 14th, 2021, a black Angus purebred bull valued at $4,500 was found dead at Green Bar Ranch in Wheeler County, Oregon. Oh, thanks, Android.
Thank you, Android.
The rancher found that one eye, nose, ear, and part of the muzzle, and part of the tail, and of course the genitals, were carefully cut from the body of the bull. He states that this was done with surgical, precise incisions. This is the 5th case of cattle mutilation in Wheeler County in 20 months, according to local Capital Press. In neighboring Harney County, there have been 5 such cases over the past 4 years, 2 of which occurred this year in May and in July. Sheriff's Department across all Oregon counties share information about such cases, but Wheeler County Sheriff Jerry Holmes, who has investigated some of the cases, says all 10 cases in Wheeler and Harney counties are still open, and all 10 look eerily similar. At the same time, they notified the FBI about the incidents. Now let's move on to recent events in Argentina. In recent weeks, unusual cases of disfigured animals have appeared in the province. In Hasenkamp, the breeder found a heifer weighing about 400 kilograms with strange disabilities. She was missing the udder, genitals, part of the jaw, tongue, and eyes. Meanwhile, in Isletis Diamante department, cattle breeders found one of their goats dead and mutilated, missing a tongue, 2 eyes, 1 ear, and a jaw. The flesh from the jaws was cut off, and the teeth were bared, reports the newspaper El Once. Or El Once. I don't know how to say that correctly, but although many locals blame the chupacabra, ufologists have strong belief that this is all the work of aliens. In particular, the same newspaper El Once cites, I don't know, I'm trying to sound worldly here, but I have no idea if that's just once or once or what the hell to say there. So just let's pretend it's once. Cites the opinion of ufologist Andrea Perez Simondini. That's as good as I'm going to get there. Who says that mysterious lights are often seen during cattle mutilation and believes that they have a direct connection. According to Simondini, by studying the wounds on the goat's face, she was able to determine the type of wound. This is a so-called cut, which is used in genetic research. Mutilation has been found in many species of animals, such as horses, cows, pigs, goats, sheep, and interestingly, all cuts have direct connection to genetic research on the senses, such as mouth, eyes, etc. And we've been fighting for years so that the authorities focus on this, says Perez Simondini. It's difficult to understand why aliens would only take genetic samples from cows, goats, and other farm animals, and not people, other livestock, or wild animals. It's believed by many to be secret genetic research conducted by people either in the large and competitive cattle business or in government where they can conduct covert disease research. That's interesting. A lot of times people also sightseeing, they cite, meaning they say, or C-I-T-E, not S-I-G-H-T. They cite witnessing black helicopters in those areas oftentimes. That comes up an awful lot. And so for the sake of argument, let's just say these are indeed genetic tests. Wouldn't aliens have moved so far beyond the I don't know, the really almost barbaric method of ours of taking these huge slices of tissues and be able to do that same thing? You know, like you think about, so I'm thinking about Star Trek, right? They got the tricorders. They call those tricorders, and they go bzzz, and they point it at the thing, and all of a sudden they get this huge readout and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty cool. That's the way the future should look. Why would you do a barbaric thing such as slicing off pieces of flesh? Can't you just scan it and there you go? You got the information you need. And I would think so. These aliens are so advanced that they're navigating the incredible cosmos to get here. And through all kinds of things that we can't even imagine, they've conquered it and do it seamlessly. But yet they get here and they're still whipping out the pocket knife and whittling off some cow. You know, it's like, I need some cow lips, you know, so boom, they go get cow lips. Why? I mean, that's
a good point.
You know, they're so advanced in every other way. Why would they still be, you know, following barbaric practices to, even if it is genetic testing, let's say that that's their ultimate goal. Doesn't it seem like they should have other methods that are much more advanced and would not, I mean, that they could do it even on the hoof where it doesn't really affect the animal. You know, I mean, you can swab your cheek and find out where your ancestors are, or, you know, are from and all that. But, you know, we don't have to get anally cored to find out whether or not we're, you know, Scandinavian or German or whatever. It's like, I realize there's much more to this than I can possibly know. I'm just being an idiot like usual, but it just seems to me there should be more advanced methods for this to be undertaken with. So, which leads me then to think, if it is indeed genetically testing, that's the goal, then it does sound like it would be done perhaps by covert programs that are testing because maybe they release something in that area and they're testing the impact on the local fauna of it. Right? You know, so like, and I'm going to go a little bit into conspiracy land. Forgive me, folks. I don't like to do this because I like to stay away from this stuff, but I am looking for answers here. in all of this stuff, in all this paranormal stuff, I'm always looking for the whys. And I really don't believe that these super advanced intelligent beings would have to do these real archaic practices of collecting genetic samples. I would think that they would have much more advanced means of doing so. And so if it is being done and those are identical to what would be done in a laboratory of testing genetically, then it's probably some of ours doing it. And I'm not saying it's a government conspiracy. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if the practice matches our practices, then I don't buy that it's an advanced civilization doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, so let's say we go down the route that it's people, government trying to do genetic experiments and using the black helicopters or whatever people have heard or seen. That is a lot of money spent just to get some pieces of cow. That is a lot of effort going out just to get cow. Like using helicopters, using special forces training just to get some cows and then cut off some stuff and then leave. It's like that's a lot of effort, a lot of money wasted at that point.
I don't. I'm gonna go full stupid here, but when you said that, I'm thinking, have you seen what guys do to get near girls? Like, it's like OnlyFans. People are mortgaging their houses so they can. It's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't put that past human beings at all.
Jeez, maybe I'm just cup half full kind of person.
I don't know. I know what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I just really have a hard time believing that these beings could be so far advanced to us and still utilizing the same archaic practices to scientifically test. Just me, but it doesn't wash really well with me. So I'm just basically thinking out loud. So whatever the case is, I don't know.
I mean, what if that's Android Purity said, aliens have to eat something. Seriously, what do you imagine they eat? Are they vegan? Like, maybe it's a delicacy thing. Like, just love me some cow anus, I don't know.
What's for dinner tonight, Mom? We got some fresh cow anus, kids. Whee! Yeah, I don't know. Love you too, Taco. Love you too. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the weird stuff. It's the very weird stuff that I don't understand, but it's comes up. It happens. But again, in this case, I don't know. I just have trouble with it. It doesn't seem to match.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No, it does. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that because, I'm really just thinking out loud. I get these ideas as I'm talking. It's like, why? Wouldn't they have a better method for that by now? So, because I'm hoping we will. I'm hoping that, it'll be like Star Trek, like I said, where okay, we fused your bones now. You can go back to work. It's like literally 5 minutes, and you're done. So, I don't know.
A third option is Rachel kind of brings up the point when she said maybe they're an alien medieval reenactment group. The old ways are the best ways, but what if it's maybe it's a lot more simple than we think, and it's just like maybe they this group of alien life forms, decided to do it the old way, the way their ancestors did it, or mimicking us, getting things they want, but just doing it our way. I don't know.
So then we'll think it's us. We won't think it's them. Yeah, it's the way they hide it. Yeah, I don't know. Could be. And again, it's all just wild speculation, but it's pretty curious stuff. I don't know. That whole There's some reason they're doing it. This isn't just a whim of some lizard guy from wherever. It's there's some reason that this is happening. If it's extraterrestrial, then they're doing something for some reason. Then that's about the most stupid thing I could say. But obviously, it just doesn't wash for me. I don't know. I always trip up on this. So anyway, that's the second article. And, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments if you think that, am I onto something or am I just being a knucklehead?
Cold Stare says maybe it is attention diversion. Get us paying attention to something else, but then you ask who is diverting our attention.
Yeah, good point. I think that about most of the news.
True. Yeah, good point.
We're going to move on to the next. And this is a Brent Swanser article that I've been dying to read for about the last week, but I haven't been able to fit it in because the nights just blow by. But I made sure we get it in tonight because definitely plays into our theme. And this is an article he did for mysteriousliuniverse.org, which is a great site. Please check it out. There's thousands and thousands of articles about all kinds of amazing things, Fortean and supernatural and paranormal. So check it out. And they have some incredible writers over there. But my favorite is Brent Swanser. And he can be found on Facebook on his group, Dark League Paranormal. And it's a great group. Get involved if you could. And get involved in the Paranormal Portal fans group too as well. That's a great group, and it's growing, and always meeting new people there, and great discussions. Deb just posted, our very own Deb Varner, just posted some weird pictures of the moon she was shooting. She's like, does this make sense to anyone? And it's pretty bizarre. So definitely come by and weigh in on those things if you guys don't mind. But let's get to the article, and this is written September 5th, 2021, so it's really pretty new. And it's strange and unexplained island UFO encounters. And he writes, UFO reports come from all corners of the globe and from people from all walks of life. There seems to be nowhere that is immune to such strange phenomena, with this seeming to be an all-encompassing wave of strangeness that is, as of yet, beyond our ability to comprehend. One area that has seen plenty of UFO action are the islands of our world, and that may make sense in that UFOs are often said to be drawn to water. Whether that is true or not, islands have consistently brought in some weird accounts, and here are some of the weirdest. In 1954, there was a very bizarre UFO event in the island nation of Madagascar, which would be witnessed by potentially tens of thousands of witnesses. On August 16, 1954, an electric green ball was seen hurtling down from the sky over the Palais de la Reine. I don't know, I'm trying to sound worldly again. The Palais de la Reine, also called the Rova of Antananarivo, okay, in the bustling city of Antananarivo. The mysterious object went streaking behind a nearby hill, and at the time it was thought to be perhaps a meteorite that was about to hit, but there was no explosion or impact. As a multitude of alarmed citizens tried to figure out what was going on, the green light reappeared from behind the hill and proceeded to silently fly up and down over the Avenue of the Liberation. With an estimated tens of thousands of awestruck people looked on in various states ranging from awe to horror. It was noticed at the time that the street lights and the shop lights would flicker and go out as the object passed over them. Yeah, that's definitely, must be an EM field of some kind, yeah. Some electromagnetic field that's disrupting the normal electrical currents. Only to snap back as it went by. The dogs all over the city were furiously barking, which you'd think would have to do with some kind of sound that's out of our range. But the object continued traveling all over the city, passing over a zoo where all of the animals became absolutely hysterical. And then when it passed by, cattle on the outskirts of the city, they too went nuts. Well, no kidding. I think they hate it when they lose their lips and their anuses. Whatever it was, then flew off to the west and was gone. The event was witnessed by as many as 200,000 people and has never been explained. In 1958, there was a case from the remote, rocky, uninhabited speck of rocky land called Trinidad, located in the South Atlantic between Brazil and Africa. The island is far from civilization with no settlements, and the only people here being the seasonal staff of an oceanographic post and a meteorological station operated by the Hydrography and Navigation Division of the Ministry of the Navy. It is a wind-lashed forbidding place, surrounded by lonely seas and forgotten by the world, and where not much ever really happens, but that would change in January of 1958. At the time, a naval oceanographic research vessel called the Almirante Saldanha made its way to the island to perform scientific studies. After which it was to head off to Rio de Janeiro. Janeiro? Really? Janeiro. On January 16th, as the ship was preparing to depart after several days on the island. Something very strange would happen. On that day, a number of people on deck witnessed a bizarre object in the sky, which a photographer on board by the name of Almiro Barauna was also observed and managed to take photographs of. He would say of it, "It was on January 16th at 12:15 p.m. The ship was preparing to leave the island to come back to Rio, and I was on the deck observing the operations to take on board the boat used in the trips between the ship and the island. The island has no harbor. And the sea was agitated. The weather was cloudy, clear, with no shadows. I had my Rolleiflex 2.8 Model E, which was kept inside an aluminum box for protection against the corrosive effects of water and salt. And I had left my Leica with the telephoto lens in my cabin a few moments before. The deck was full of sailors and officers, and suddenly Mr. Amalar Vieira, the captain, and Captain Viegas, called me, pointing to a certain spot in the sky and yelling about a bright object which was approaching the island. At this same moment, when I was still trying to see what it was, Lieutenant Homero, the ship's dentist, came from the bow towards us, running, pointing to the sky, and also yelling about an object he was sighting, and he was so disturbed and excited that he almost fell down after colliding with a cable. Then I was finally able to locate the object by the flash of light it emitted, and it was already close to the island, and it glittered at certain moments, perhaps changing its own light, I don't know. It was coming over the sea, moving toward a point called the Gallo Crest, and I had lost 30 seconds looking for the object, but the camera was already in hands, ready when I sighted it, clearly silhouetted against the clouds. I shot 2 photos before it disappeared behind the peak of Desejado or Jado, I don't know. The camera was set at a speed of 125, 1/25th of a second, with the aperture at an f8, and this was the cause of an overexposure error, as I discovered later. Yeah, that's that's pretty slow. The object remained out of sight for a few seconds behind the peak, reappearing brighter in size and flying in the opposite direction, but lower and closer than before, and moving at a higher speed. I shot the 3rd photo. The 4th and 5th ones were lost, not only because of the speed of the saucer was flying, but also for another reason. In the confusion produced as a result of the sighting, I was being pulled and pushed by other persons also trying to spot the object, and as a consequence photographed the sea and the island only, not the object. It was moving out to sea again in the direction from which it had come, and it appeared to stop in midair for a brief time. At that moment I shot my last photo, the last on the film. After about 10 seconds, the object continued to increase its distance from the ship, gradually diminishing in size and finally disappearing into the horizon. The object was sighted by almost all the people on the deck at the time, including Lieutenant Homero, Captain Viegas, and Mr. Amalar Vieira. Barana would have the photos developed as soon as he could, and the negatives were turned over to the Navy, and it would also turn out that others in the area on other vessels had also seen the object and even photographed it. But he was extensively interviewed by naval officials. Barana would say of all of this, "I was interviewed by several high staff officers who asked me all kinds of questions. I went there twice. At the first meeting, they requested the negatives for examination. They were sent to a civilian organization, the Cruzeiro do So Aerofoto Grammatic Service. Grammetric Service. I'm sorry, folks. There's a lot of words in here that my Midwest palate isn't used to forming. Remaining there for 4 days, I was told by the Navy officers that the analysis proved they were genuine, excluding definitely the possibility of a trick or falsification. On the second visit, they performed several time tests. While I worked on my Rolleiflex, taking shots at the same time intervals I had used to photograph the object, 3 Navy officers with chronometers registered the times. They came to the conclusion, based on these tests as well as the studies concerning the ship's position and examination of charts on the island, that the object was flying at a speed between 900 and 1,000 kilometers per hour, about 600 miles per hour. The object's size was also estimated on the basis of studies related to the island's details and also appearing on the photos, diagrams drawn on charts, graphs, etc. The object was about 120 feet in diameter and about 24 feet high. They requested me to keep the matter secret for some time. I was permitted to publish the case only after authorization from the Navy. The permission was granted verbally on the night of February 15th by Commander Basilar, and they made only one restriction, which I cannot mention, for the reason that I have given my word. I was informed of 4 other sightings over the island during those 30 days, preceding the incident of January 16th. I was also informed of another thing. At one of these sightings, the object was photographed by a Navy sergeant. His photo obviously was not released or probably never will be. The reasons are evident. Besides those 4 sightings, there was also the radar case. A target flying at supersonic speeds was tracked by the radar of the Almirante Saldanha on January 15th. The photos eventually got out into the wild and created quite a lot of excitement in the general public, as they were very clear photos of an actual UFO. As people discussed and debated them, the Navy went quiet and refused to make any comment or answer any questions on the matter, despite the fact that many high-ranking Navy personnel had witnessed the event and were telling their stories. The hype over the incident and its photos got so intense that the Navy had to step in, making a statement that said, with reference to the reports appearing in the press that the Navy is opposed to divulge the facts concerning the appearance of a strange object over Trinidad Island. This cabinet declares that such information has no basis. This ministry has no motive to impede the release of photographs of the referred to object taken by Mr. Almiro Barona, who was at Trinidad Island at the invitation of the Navy and in the presence of a large number of the crew of Almirante Saldanha, from whose deck the photographs were taken. Clearly, this ministry will not be able to make any pronouncement concerning the object seen because the photographs do not constitute sufficient proof for such purpose. In the end, the Brazilian Navy would say nothing more on this case, the photos or its analysis of them, and we are left to wonder what all these qualified witnesses saw out there at that island and what is in those images. Another weird case happened at the rugged and remote Anglican mission village at, why can't they have them in America? I just don't know how to pronounce some of these. Boenai, Papua New Guinea, where on April 5th, 1959, a Father William Booth Gill was there doing missionary work when he would have an outlandish experience. On that evening, Gill would observe a strange fast-moving light moving through the sky in the distance over the remote Mount Pudi. This would be followed a month later by an inverted saucer-shaped object hovering over the mission, and at first Gill tried to put these anomalous occurrences out of his head and get on with his work, but in June 26, 1959, Gill and dozens of other witnesses saw a 4-legged, disc-shaped object fly out from the wilderness to hover over the mission with 4 small humanoids that busily went about some unknown task as a blue beam intermittently shot down from the craft to the ground below. Curious, some of the witnesses waved their hands and were astonished when the entities waved back. Gill would say, on the large one, 2 of the figures seemed to be doing something near the center of the deck. They were occasionally bending over and raising their arms as though adjusting or setting up something. One figure seemed to be standing, looking down at us. In a moment of anticipation, I raised his arms and waved to the figure. That's what it says. I raised his arms, okay, and waved to the figure, and to our surprise, the figure did the same. Ananias waved both arms over his head when then the 2 outside figures did the same. Ananias and myself began waving our arms, and all 4 seemed to wave back. There seemed no doubt that our movements were answered. After about an hour of this, the beings entered the ship again flew off, after which several smaller craft would patrol the area for some time before disappearing. Later that evening, Gill would hear a loud bang from outside and go out to see 4 UFOs circling about, moving or before flying off. The sightings have never been explained. Moving on to 1972, there's a curious account from Uruguay's remote Isle de Lobos, a tiny island just off of the coast, populated by fur seals, and with the only sign of humans is a lone lighthouse on a rocky, wind-blasted shore. This lighthouse is manned by a garrison of 5 Navy men who do 15-day shifts, and on October 28, 1972, the shift would have dinner as usual, and after which one of the men, a Corporal Juan Fuentes Figueroa, went out to check the generators on a routine inspection. As he was out there, his attention was caught by some strange lights in the sky, hovering near the top of the generator building, seemingly right above a terrace that was situated up there about 20 feet above the ground. The lights looked to him like car headlights, although this was of course impossible, and they seemed to be flashing and oscillating between a mix of white, yellow, and violet. Fuentes was so unsettled by the sight that he went back to get his pistol, oddly not telling any of the other men what was going on, and when he went back outside to approach the generator building again, and this time he could see that there was an object up there apparently landed on the terrace, described as a metallic copper-colored object shaped like an inverted bowl, standing on some sort of landing gear and with a rotating antenna on some sort of its top, on some sort on its top. What's more, in the eerie illumination of the lights, there was what looked to be a figure standing beside the object, with the second and third figure were descending from the craft. They seemed to be wearing some sort of dark suits akin to diving suits. Their heads appeared somewhat elongated and oversized, and one seemed to be noticeably taller than the others, although Fuentes could not make out a lot of details. He then realized that they had turned towards him and seemed to be very aware that he was there. At this time, Fuentes was overcome with fear and panic and raised his pistol to point it up at the craft. It was at this point that he felt a strange sensation throughout his body, like a vibration that sent his hair standing up on end, and found that he was unable to move, as if paralyzed. All while a voice boomed through his head and said, "Don't shoot, because it is useless." After this, the strange entities went back up into their ship, seemingly walking up the steps of some kind, appearing to be pulling themselves up with handrails, after which the craft closed and began to lift off of its landing legs, retracted telescopically. It hovered up into the air momentarily and then silently sped off at breathtaking speed with a flash of bright light like a fireball. At this point, Fuentes ran back to the others and told them what had happened, but no one believed him. Considering he was the superior officer and no one believed him, this came as a shock, but it would seem that at least one of the men, Francisco Cascudo, thought it was odd enough to pass it along to a superior officer, and they would all check it out. Not long after their tour at the lighthouse ended, Fuentes was called aside by high-ranking officials who interviewed him at length on what he had allegedly seen. Fuentes would claim that there had also been 2 men who he believed to be from the U.S. Embassy lurking in the background taking notes, and who were later identified as offers from the Spatial Affairs Service. Spatial Affairs Service, really? Fuentes is also shown various pictures of different UFOs and asked to point out which were most similar to what he had witnessed, and then dismissed. At no point was he ever directly questioned by the mysterious Americans, but he could see them excitedly talking to his interrogators in another room, making it obvious that they were very interested in his sighting, and after this, the case came to the attention of the Uruguayan UFO Investigation Center, who subjected Fuentes to some psychological tests and came to the conclusion that he was a solid witness, describing him as sincere, uncomplicated, and simple, with no tendency to fabrication or fantasy, and lacking an average imagination. Nope, he couldn't have made this up. It was also noted that Fuentes had no previous interest or knowledge of UFOs, and they came to the conclusion that he at least truly believed he had seen what he claimed. Sub-Officer Cascudo would back this up, describing Fuentes as a simple and honest man, and capable of inventing a story to this nature, or inventing rather, sorry. Finally, we have a report from the Canary Islands, located in the Atlantic Ocean, in the region called Macaronesia. and just about 62 miles from the northwestern coast of Africa off Morocco. On June 22nd, 1976, people living on the island of Tenerife, La Palma, and La Gomera began calling in to report numerous strange lights performing odd maneuvers in the sky. Amongst them, one that seemed to be larger than the others, described as a giant luminous sphere. Among these reports were more spectacular than the others, and one of the first reported incidents was made by the Navy escort ship, the Atrevida, which at the time was positioned off the coast of Fuerteventura Island. Man, there's so many words in this article that I don't know. I feel like I'm a kid trying to read my first book. On this evening at approximately 9:27 p.m., the crew observed an extremely bright light moving in the general direction of the ship. It was first thought to be a normal aircraft, but this turned out not to be the case, as it began rotating, pulsating, and generating a blindingly bright halo of yellow and blue, as well as various flashing strobe effects. The baffled crew watched this mysterious object for a full 40 minutes, and the official report from the ship would read in part, "The original light went out and a luminous beam from it began to rotate. It remained like this for approximately 2 minutes, and then an intense, great halo of yellowish and bluish light developed. And it remained in the same position for 40 minutes, even though the original phenomenon was no longer visible. 2 minutes after the great halo, the light split into two parts, the smaller part being beneath in the center of the luminous halo, where a blue cloud appeared, and the part from which the bluish nucleus had come vanished. The upper part began to climb in a spiral, rapid and irregular, and finally vanished. None of these movements affected the initial circular halo in any way, which remained just the same the whole time. Its glow lighting up parts of the land and the ocean, from which he could deduce that the phenomenon was not very far away from us, but was close. At no point was the craft picked up on radar, and a check of air traffic in the area showed no military or civilian aircraft scheduled to be in the vicinity. This would start a whole series of reports from throughout the Canary Islands, as whatever it was headed out on its inscrutable mission, and people seemed to be reporting two different types of phenomena, one being this large sphere and the other being smaller flitting orbs. And these were seen by hundreds of people across several islands, and one of the most intriguing reports came from a Dr. Francisco Padron Leon, who at the time was in a taxi on his way to a house call at the town of Las Rosas. However, things got very odd when both he and the driver noticed an illuminated globe up in front of them, just seeming to hover over the ground. According to Leon's report, it measured an estimated 100 feet across. It was seemingly made up of a semi-clear material like crystal. More bizarre still was that they drew closer. They could see that the bottom of the sphere was ringed by some sort of metallic platform upon which two immense humanoid beings around 10 feet in height were standing next to a large consoles of some kind. These two creatures had oversized heads, wore some kind of helmets, and seemed to be operating a giant tube that belched forth a bluish smoke, and the doctor would say of these entities and what happened next. At each side of the center, there were two figures about 2.5 to 3 meters, 8.5 to 10 feet tall, but no taller than 3 meters, 10 feet, dressed entirely in red, and facing each other in such a way that I always saw their profile. When I observed that some kind of bluish smoke was coming out from the semi-transparent central tube in the sphere, covering the periphery of the sphere's interior without leaking outside at any moment, then the sphere began to grow and grow until it became huge, like a 20-story house. But the platform and the crew remained in the same size. It rose slowly and majestically, and it seems I heard a very tenuous whistling. This gigantic sphere would ascend and then purportedly shoot off at astounding speed along with its mysterious occupants. It would then be seen by several other witnesses directly after this, including the very patient that the doctor was on his way to see, all of who described the same translucent crystalline structure and giant beings on their catwalk. By the end of the evening, there would apparently be thousands of reports from across the archipelago, describing something bizarre going on in the sky, coming from a wide variety of professions and ages, and making them one of the most mass-witnessed UFO events ever. Yet it was all mostly swept under the carpet by the Spanish Air Force. The following year, in 1977, some of these reports were leaked to journalist J.J. Benitez, by a Spanish Air Force general, and would subsequently find their way back into his book, UFOs, Official Documents of the Spanish Government. But this was still all considered unverifiable and filled with spooky conspiracies. It would not be until 1994 that people would really take it seriously when the Spanish Air Force declassified its files on the events, and it was clear for all to see that something very odd had indeed been documented from that evening. The declassified report was very detailed, including over 100 pages of testimony, evaluations, drawings, and full chronology of the sightings. And it also took the step of separating witnesses by their perceived level of veracity and reliability, with the reports of the crew of the Atrevida and that of Dr. Leon ranking at the top. It was also explained that an investigative adjunct had been launched by the Spanish Air Force, which had found that there had been no military or civilian aircraft at that time, and they officially labeled it an unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP. There are no easy answers for any of these cases, and they had joined the ranks of the many, many UFO reports that have come before them. Although such accounts come in from all over the world, from many environments, there just seems to be something fascinating about these island reports. To know that there are these strips of land out there isolated from the rest of the world, having these incidents holds a certain sense of allure. And it all only adds to the mystery of the UFO phenomena at large. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, courtesy of Mr. Brent Swanser. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
That was a great article.
Yeah, it really is. I just really wish I was much better at pronouncing some of those words. It's just
actually, speaking of that, sorry, Cold, I'm calling you out.
I love it when
Cold
you struggle with
says,
words.
Brent, I love when you struggle with a word and then look at the camera like you're looking at us to help you pronounce it. I feel so hopeless I can't pronounce them either.
They said helpless, by the way. Not hopeless.
Oh.
Sheldon froze. Sheldon actually froze. That's what misspeaking will do. Or did I? What's going on? Okay, there's my boy. I don't know what happened. Are we still connected? Are you seeing me? Am I here? I'm fine. Okay. Okay, thank you, Gigi. I don't know what's going on. Sheldon just locked up. He'll have to rejoin us. Looks like he actually disconnected because he's no longer there. Well, he's here. Let's see. Sheldon. Such a good kid. He's such a good kid. Good sense of humor. I hope you guys enjoy him on the show. We've received so many nice messages from you all out there about Sheldon being on the show, so I appreciate that. That means the world. He's a really good guy. I'm very proud of him. Very proud of all my kids. They're really amazing people. There you are.
Okay.
What happened?
I can get that fade.
What?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's really laggy. Really, really laggy. Your volume is much lower now, though. Wait. It's actually too low now. Yeah. Weird, huh?
I think I just need it.
You're breaking in and out. I don't know what's going on.
Is this better?
Yeah, a little bit.
I can put it to my normal.
I'd put it up a little bit again.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think so.
I'm turning it back up to 6.
There you go. Good. Yeah, now you're not you're loud enough, but you're not punching through my eardrums, so
that's good.
It's not getting ear slapped every time you talk. So
no, but yeah, there was another thing I wanted to comment on. What Cold Steer said. Where is it? It was Rachel. I wonder if Rachel says, I wonder if the aliens act up around the coastlines because they can escape from observation quickly into the ocean. And this is what I thought after she said that. I was like, wait a minute. What if, I mean, let's just say what if. What if they have an FOB, a forward operating base, like under the sea where we can't even go. We can't even look at.
Yeah.
You know, they're not maybe they're not. I mean, they'll come from the stars, but you know, they'll always have a base in the ocean, and that's why, like, it's interesting. It was just an interesting thought, like, huh?
Well, you know? I mean, if you were trying to observe an area, where would you post your operations? Somewhere where they don't know where you are, or they can't get to.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've long said that on the show, and many people have postulated that that's not unique to us. That it makes sense that they would probably be underwater because that's someplace we're not good at getting at or getting to. So yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense for sure. So what are we doing for time here? Oh, we're already in overtime. Wow, we've gone way over, but we started a little late, so that's okay.
We did. We're giving the community back their time.
They probably want the whole hour, though. You probably want the whole hour back. Like, oh my God, I'm never getting this time back.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Wait a minute. A second. Oh, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I do want to hit the Trail Cam Terrors, so I hope you guys are ready. Are you ready?
Always.
Okay, let's get to it then. Let's get to it. Here we go. All right, folks, welcome to the Trail Cam Terrors. This is a section of our show where we talk about weird things that are captured on trail cams in the great wilds of the internets. Some of it is pretty cool. Some of it is pretty suspect, but it's all worth discussing here on the Paranormal Portal. So let's close that so I don't forget about that. And then this is one that actually Sheldon found right before the show tonight. So we're going to showcase that now, and it comes right out of his backyard in Minnesota. And it may be that there was a UFO sighting there just recently. Oh my God, it's like micro print. I got to blow it up because that's what I do is blow it up, blowing up the portal. Whoop, whoop.
Cold Stare says what state is Wyoming?
Washington. WA is Washington.
Yes, Washington. We used to hear reports of orange orbs that would come in from over the ocean, then go down the coast. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of reports of there being potential. People believe there are bases all over the Pacific, right along the coast or outside of, just off the coast, out in the deep water. I believe it's possible. I know there's a point in California, if you look at like Google Earth, if you go off the coast of California, there actually looks like there's a cutoff. Like it's literally like a cutoff where it goes off from the shore and then it just goes straight down. And then I don't know how far, but it goes down a significant distance. And then it looks like there's a cut under again. Like you could, and there's some people that have speculated you could actually probably take a submarine under Los Angeles because it's like on a shelf or something like that. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be a hell of a place to set up your base. Unless it's really nasty for earthquake activity or something, I don't know. But I'm sure the aliens do. The extraterrestrials probably know all that stuff. But at any rate, let's go to this. And this is a report from Sheldon. I guess I'll read the article first, and then we'll get to the video portion of it. It doesn't look real. Well, it does kind of look long, doesn't it? Jesus. Okay. No, what the hell is this? Hold on, I got to figure out where it actually stops. Okay, now it's talking about gas. Okay, I guess it's just a paragraph. Is there a video?
No, there's a video. There's a video.
Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. I'll read the article and then we'll get to it. Here we go. Let's put it up on screen so you guys can see it. This is from 103.7, theloon.com. The loon is the Minnesota state bird, by the way. It has a really haunting sound. It's really cool. Beautiful sound. Used to have them out off the shore on Pepin once in a while. Says, is this a UFO flying over Eveleth, Minnesota? Check out the video. Seems that there have been more than usual amount of UFO sightings recently. Even the Pentagon says that there's something out there. But what? Personally, I've never seen one, but my former brother and sister-in-law, I guess he's divorced or she's divorced, had an experience about 20 years ago. They were staying in a rented cabin up in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Around 2 a.m. one morning, they woke up and when all the yard lights went dark and the window air conditioner quit running. They looked out the window and saw 3 round spheres hovering in the yard. They watched until the 3 spheres merged into one and took off at a rapid speed into the night. Immediately, whatever it was left, all the electricity came back on. In a recent sighting at Eveleth, Minnesota wasn't quite as detailed. There was some security camera footage that supplied by a resident of Eveleth that shows what appears to be some sort of UFO. Chief Meteorologist Justin Lease from TV station WDIO shared the security camera footage he received from resident Larry Balobaba on WDIO's Facebook. Check it out. And that's just what we're going to do now. I don't know if I can make this bigger or not, but I hope you guys can see it. Yeah, we can. I'm trying. Wait, what the hell? I tried to make it bigger, but it wouldn't. I don't want to. It says click to exit full screen. Never mind. We'll just play the damn thing. All right. This is as big as I can make it.
Oh. That's okay.
Oh, wow. Is that behind the trees or is it in front of it, though? That's curious, isn't it? Let's watch that again. Comes down in the middle there, scooping left, scooping right. A little left again, and then zoom. I don't know. It doesn't look that big, though, does it? It looks pretty... That is pretty curious.
See, that's the thing I thought about it is if it's a UFO or anything unknown like that, then it would have to be past the trees in the distance, I would think. But another part of me is like either that or it's something really small right in front of the camera. But that's why I thought it was interesting, because I couldn't quite distinguish which one it was.
And that's the hard part. Is it's hard to say how far is this away from the camera. You're right. It could be just 10 feet away, but it's above the tree line, so you can never quite gauge that. And that's what's tough. Come here, Minion. I have two of my 3 sons on the air. Might as well, right? Might as well, right?
Might as well.
Do you want to put on the headphones so you can hear what's going on? All right. Let me move this empty bottle out of your way.
Milk, right?
Huh?
Glass of milk, right?
It was. It's an empty glass right now. So that's a glass
of milk after this.
Can you have milk after this?
Yeah.
No, you got to drink pop or something yucky. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, you can have milk for sure.
Oh.
Okay, come on over here because I can't put both cameras on. Because, well, at first, whatever you think, folks, it's hard to tell from that video. Could be far away. If it is, then it could be the legit thing, but it may not be. So that concludes the trail cam terrors. All right, folks. Oh, let me pull this down so Sheldon. Hey, where are you going? I need you here. Are you going to show that? Come here. Come here. Don't be shy. What are you doing? Get over here. He made me a little balloon dog tonight. Isn't that cute? It's got 3 legs. He didn't have enough room to make the 4th leg. Hey, one of the legs went flat too, by the way. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of the legs went flat. Come here. All right.
Wow.
So
One of them did?
one of them did. Yeah, it went flat. See that? He likes to watch YouTube videos with balloons and do balloon art. So he just watched a video and made a dog.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Wow. So what do you want to tell people to do? What should they do? Because the show's over. What should people do?
Like and hit the notifications bell so I don't miss any videos, and hit the like button.
And subscribe, right?
And I already said that.
No, you said like a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. And subscribe.
And subscribe. You're right. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to conclude our broadcast tonight. And we got 2 nights off now. So, next 2 nights, there won't be a live show. but stay tuned if you're a listener of the podcast. And if you're not, you should be. But the podcast will be coming out in just a little bit. It's part 2 of our interview with Todd Neese. It was already aired on YouTube, of course, but we ported it over. That's one of the YouTube videos. We ported over to the podcast because it was a great discussion. So that'll be coming out in just a little bit. What happened?
3 legs again.
3 legs. Woo. Call him Tripod.
All right.
This is my dog, Tripod.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, folks. So thank you all for joining us and being a part of the journey, as always. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Sheldon, what do you got closing?
If you guys want to join our Discord, stay more connected to us in the community, I will leave the link right in the chat for you.
You'll leave the link in the chat. Good job. Okay.
That's right.
Did you have something else you want to say, mister? Huh?
Yeah, but you already said it.
Oh, but I already said it? Oh, okay. Well, say something else. You got 5 seconds. 4.
I don't know what I said.
Maybe just good night. Come over and say good night.
Good night, everybody. Bye, I love you.
Yeah, we love them, don't we? Okay.
That's right.
We love you all. Thank you so much. That's from my family to you. And so until next time, Wednesday night, Don will be here and we'll get into the Wednesday show, but watch for the podcast. And until then, you guys have a great couple of days and we'll be back before you know it. Be good and stay tuned for more of the Paranormal Portal. Oh, and please feel free to share these on your social media. It goes a long way to help us get more and more notice in the wilds of the internets. So if you wouldn't mind.
We have numbers to pump up.
Okay. We are here to pump you up.
Yeah.
Or you are here to pump us up. That sounds terrible, didn't it? Never mind.
Oh.
It was all it's all in the thought. All right. Ciao, Bella.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, take care, guys. Good night, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. Until then.
Woo!